Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at my brand new Mossberg 590 Retrograde. And before we get this video started, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the biggest supporter of my channel, which is Seal One. If you guys don't know what Seal One is, what they make a wide variety of cleaning products. And the cool thing is, before this sponsorship, you guys have heard me say it before, I've been using Seal One for years. I love it. I've never had an issue with it. They make a bio-based and non-toxic paste and liquid version of CLP, and they also have Sub-Zero stuff. They have bow care products. They got a brand new cleaning kit, but it smells great, cleans really good, and they are also offering you guys a crazy discount code on their website. Their stuff is already stupid cheap. It's like 10, 11 bucks, but they're giving you guys 25% off of your order. All you have to do at checkout on their website is put in the discount section FF-25. That's FF-25, and it gets you 25% off of your order. Links down below. I seriously appreciate the support. So, crazy enough, the Remington 870 Retro video that I did on my channel was one of my most popular, highest demand videos in months, almost a year. That video did better than any other video on my channel. So I know that you guys love a good retrograde shotgun or a retro security gun. One of the most comments that I got underneath that video was, "Joe, you have to take a look at the Mossberg variation of the retro shotgun line." And I hear ya. I wanted one really, really bad. They were very hard to find. I finally got my freaking hands on one. This is going to start a very probably controversial video series where I am comparing the 590 Retrograde with the 870 Retro security pump gun, and I'm going to tell you guys which one that I like more. Stay tuned for that video. It is coming, but I'm not going to touch on those things in this video. I'm going to separate them because if I try to hit it in this video with the first impressions, it's going to be far too long. So hold off your comments about asking me which one is better. We will talk about that at a later date. Mossberg has been doing this Retrograde series now for a few years, and ever since they dropped them, they've been hard to find. The market continues to scream from the rooftops that we want cool, vintage, retro guns. Not guns that were once retro and now we're going to throw a weird, futuristic, stupid look to them. We just want to return to the cool wood and heat shield pump guns. That's all we're looking for. The industry has spoken, and that is what we've been seeing with the Mossberg series for quite some time. And I have really had a hard time finding these guns in stock, especially with the mess that has been the gun industry for the past couple of years. They became even harder to find. Now, Mossberg does have an entire lineup of this Retrograde series, and it starts with a standard 500. You get a 6-round mag tube, 18-inch barrel, no heat shield, bead sight, no bayonet lug. It is just a bone stock security shotgun with Walnut Furniture, and it looks great, but it never really interested me all that much. I think it's a great shotgun, but I was particularly drawn to this exact model. Now, this is what I like to call kind of a faux 590 from Mossberg, but this particular model of the Retrograde is going to have the heat shield. It's going to have the 590 lower section with the mag tube, so you got your +1, you got your bayonet lug, and in particular, this one just has the bead sight. There is one model that is more expensive and above this. It's the 590A1, and that one is going to come with your typical ghost ring sights. It's going to have a thick-walled barrel and the heat shield. But for me, looking at a retro shotgun, those ghost ring sights just didn't look right. So I actually was always searching for this one because the bead sight gives it that awesome appearance, mixed with the heat shield, and it just is, it's got that awesome War Crimes World War I trench gun vibes, and I seriously love the vibes of this shotgun. Now, I call it a faux 590 because Mossberg's been doing this recently where they label these shotguns 590s, but they're essentially just 500s. And why I say that is because a 590A1 is what typically people think of when it comes to a 590, and that is going to have a steel trigger guard. This one, as you can see, is plastic. It's going to have a steel safety. Again, this is plastic, and it's also going to have a thick-walled barrel, whereas this is just more of a standard profile 500 security barrel. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this at all, but really, I think they could just simply mark it as a 500 and not a 590, and there would be a lot less confusion on exactly what you're getting here. But you are going to feature on all of these, and this one here, awesome walnut furniture. And I have to say, this furniture is out of this world. It's absolutely excellent. The fit and finish of the wood furniture is incredible. You're not having any strange fitment issues around the stock and the receiver itself. You can see it's all properly meshed into one there. There's not a stray line or mark anywhere. Any little ding that's on the wood is from me kind of throwing the shotgun around at the range, but I can promise you guys that out of box, this thing was immaculate. And that is what I would expect from Mossberg and why I love their pump guns so much. You have a little bit of checkering here on the stock. Not super great. It is definitely pretty slick. So maybe some tape is needed. We'll see down the road. You guys know I can never do a gun without my goon tape on it, but maybe some tape here or something like that. We'll see. I don't really want to mess up any of the wood finish there by putting any adhesive on it. You do have a pretty thick recoil pad on the back. This is, it's good in the way of recoil. It does kind of help out a good bit. I am not a fan of these recoil pads in the way that they stick to your clothing. There's a point at the end here, and then there's also a pretty sharp ledge at the top. And whenever you're going to do a ready up or from a low ready, it is gonna grab you, and it grabs in like the worst way, and especially if you're wearing like a hoodie like I was at this range day, it's grabbing it, it's grabbing a jacket. At this point, it's pretty much even grabbing, you know, even a t-shirt or something like that. So that's just something you gotta be aware of. Maybe that's something you switch out in the future, and that does add to the length of pull of the shotgun. I would say this is borderline length of pull for me. It's a little long. I'd prefer it to maybe just a ½ inch. That would be perfect for me. The Walnut Furniture has an awesome dark stain to it, and it just looks excellent. With the Mossbergs, you're going to get an old school corncob style forend, which is excellent. It's absolutely excellent. I love the corncob style, but I will say, at the range, it was kind of interesting. I thought this was going to provide a good amount of traction when I was pumping the shotgun, but I noticed that even when my hands were a little bit sweaty or when I had gloves on, it was slipping a little bit. I didn't have as much of a grip as I would think, and maybe that's just because the actual ribs in the corncob forend are rounded over. So with those rounded over ridges there, it does make it pretty easy to just kind of like slip on and off of it. So just keep that in mind. It's definitely not the best when it comes to running the pump with speed. And I was trying to do some drills, just racking it as fast as I possibly could, and I noticed my hand was kind of slipping forward or slipping backward a little bit. When it comes to a retro shotgun like this is about the only time that a heat shield looks great on a shotgun. So yes, it needs a heat shield. Yes, it looks cool. And you know what? The heat shield did do its job. I was shooting pretty quick. The barrel was pretty hot. I grabbed it barehanded up at the top. I could feel the heat radiating from the barrel in between the heat shield and the forend, and I was able to grab it, no problem, because the heat shield did its job. So yes, to some of you it might look a little dumb, but on a retro shotgun like this, you just can't beat it. It's absolutely incredible. Now, your receiver is drilled and tapped here at the top, so if you wanted to add an accessory rail for optics, you could do that. I don't see a point in doing that on this particular shotgun, but that option is still there. Now, moving up towards the front of the shotgun, we of course have that very classic bayonet lug and mount here with the +1 extension on the magazine tube. Yes, a Colt M7 bayonet fits perfectly on this, and you guys might be seeing that in a future upgrades video. Why would you need a bayonet on a shotgun? You know, I just don't know. It is quite the vibe to have a long bayonet on the end of a pump shotgun like this. I just can't explain it. It's a feeling that you just have to get behind. Of course, when it comes to reliability, the Mossberg was awesome. No complaints whatsoever. It ran everything that I put through it, and that's what I would expect from a Mossberg. I did not have time to clean it out of the box, just made sure that the bore looked good, and of course it ran. I was not expecting any issues. It's a pump shotgun, so you could imagine that it's going to be just fine. Now, what I love about Mossberg is their open loading port here on the bottom. I don't have to worry like I do on a Remington of pushing down a little tray to get the rounds in, and sometimes my glove gets caught in it or whatever. This is by far the fastest pump shotgun design that I have had in my experience. I love Mossbergs for that reason. It is so easy to do reloads with them, and I really, really enjoy that fact about it. So no problems or issues at all with reloads. I actually don't think I dropped a single shotgun shell this range day with reloads, which is a big deal. Usually you're dropping them left and right just because of the way that that is designed. The only other thing that I noticed at the range with shooting is that this safety, which of course is ambidextrous like any other 500 or 590, was super tight at the range. It's already getting a little bit better, but I mean, it really likes to get hung up there a little bit. So some adjustment may, and right there it's doing it again, it is like super crazy tight. Adjustment may be needed on that safety. We'll see as it breaks in, it'll probably get a little bit better, but that is something that I have noticed with some of the modern Mossbergs coming out compared to my older ones. The older ones, the safeties were pretty smooth. These ones are generally a little bit tighter. So I don't know if that's something that's going to break in. Again, we'll see a little bit with time. Of course, the trigger, not really too much to write home about. The Mossberg triggers are all right, but, you know, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Not the best trigger in the world. So I don't even think I need to tell you guys that, hey, you should buy this if you could come see it. I think everyone is pretty much on board with the fact that these shotguns are awesome to have in the collection. And my quest for retro security guns continues down this path, and let me tell you guys, I love where it's going. I'm going to try to see a few more options in the future, put some options down below that you guys wouldn't mind seeing here on the channel, and I will absolutely try to get my hands on them. And again, stay tuned for the upcoming video where I compare this to the Remington 870, and we'll see how they stack up head to head. Guys, that is going to wrap up this first impressions video on the Mossberg 590 Retrograde. If you guys have any other questions about this shotgun or anything else on the channel, please put them down below in the comment section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the ways to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.